Joining me now for his take on the love-in and the rest of the week's news is my good mate, 2GB, 3AW and 4BC radio broadcaster, Luke Grant. I jest about the love-in, Luke, but seriously, here's the situation where they're all together. There's an extra Labor head at the table, and putting all of that aside, that mocking aside, this actually could lead to something. Are we being a little? Should we be a little bit more optimistic about what consensus between the feds and the states and the territories might achieve?
I don't know. There's one person that's not there. He got the blame for everything, and the one that replaced him is obviously, a game changer. I don't believe any of that. I certainly don't believe anything that comes out of the kids that were in the naughty corner. Now they're out of the naughty corner because Albo's there. It might be. Look, it's likely that there'll be less disagreement from Daniel Andrews, Anastasia, McGowan and now Malinauskas, so it might look a bit more collegiate. But at the end of the day, I don't know, they're standing between a pile of cash and a premier is even Albo. Whether he can pull that off, I'm not so sure. Yeah,
interesting to hear what he said today. He was talking about more money for COVID. He was saying, I want a review. I think that's the 55th review, this time of the Australian health system, but not necessarily more money. I like the sound of that. If you can get anything positive out of a group of Labor people sitting at a table, and then you've got to add Andrews-Perrottet because he's now pallied up with Dan Andrews, it has to be with health, because there's been this blame game and these accusations running from the feds to the state and from the state to the feds for way too long.
Yeah, and we've been through this awful pandemic. We should have learnt so much, and it should already be in place. I've got a theory that at the last election, ScoMo went with everything's okay, she'll be right, mate. And I think Australians want to hear, you know what, we've been through a pretty ordinary time. A, B, C, D, we're going to do this, we're going to get it done. If we can get through that, we can do anything. There was no excitement really anywhere in these broad areas, including health. They're meant to be a close ally of the health portfolio and needs. I guess we'll see. But every time, mate, there's got to be an inquiry. Where's a leader with an idea? We don't need an inquiry. I want to do this and get it done.
Especially with the Port of Darwin. Having another review into that when one has just been...
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Anyway, I want to talk about a little further on the bromance between Dan Andrews and Andrews-Perrottet.
Yep.
I've got to say, when I heard about this, I didn't get it. One from the far right of the party, of the Liberal Party, one from the far left of the Labor Party.
Yeah.
However, what they've been able to achieve, they've come up with a significant reform when it comes to education, this pre-kindy childcare initiative.
Yep.
Do you think this has got legs, and what are the listeners saying about that?
Well, it has got legs. I've had positive feedback on that issue. But again, Chris, like gas reservation, this has been a thing in Western Australia. And I have to be honest and say, wow. So they've been ahead of the game. I mean, they're on the other side of the planet with due respect to our viewers in the West. But it's been something that they've had there for a while. It works very well. And hopefully that works really well here. I mean, this is part of this big idea thing I was talking about before. Let's look at things.
Yeah.
We've gone through this horrible period. At the end of it, we have to have learnt things. There must be new ideas. And we've got to give things a go. So let's give it a go, see what happens.
And apparently Paul Keating was the one that got Dan Andrews and Andrews-Perrottet together, like between the three of them. It's an odd triangle.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're the two biggest states. They've got the two most things in common in terms of what they're administering. So they should talk often.
Yeah. I don't know where we go to from here in terms of energy, because it's become so confusing. You've got green extremists like Matt Keane in New South Wales trying to get on with coal distributors, which is an irony, incredible irony. We've been told that blackouts will come, but now we're off the hook because they've found all this new supply. The market's just been put on pause.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's a snippet today. This is a little bit of what's gone on in a credible week for energy. Have a look at this.
Okay.
I do not believe it is a likely outcome at this point that there will be any requirement for load shedding or indeed, as I said, for blackouts.
This is a situation being driven to explain what's happening largely by coal-fired power stations having outages, not working.
The New South Wales grid will be under significant pressure between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. tonight.
So what we want to see is if there is an opportunity for people to reduce their energy usage, so perhaps not using the dishwasher until you go to bed, that would help.
Let's break it down to its simplistic form. We've got a stack of gas, we've got a stack of coal, we've got a stack of uranium. Why aren't we doing more right away to bring on baseload power? Because today, what was it? Between solar and wind together today, it supplied just 11% to the national grid. It's a joke.
Yeah, it is a joke. But let's not forget, over the last decade or more, everyone who's in the conversation on a daily basis just poo-poos gas and coal. They're the enemy. They've got to be got rid of. All of a sudden, don't put your dishwasher on. Oh, hang on, I'll get you some more coal-fired power. This is ridiculous. But you know what, Chris? In the lead up to the last election, the Labor Party in the last couple of weeks supported the Morrison government's idea of a gas power plant at Kurri Kurri in the Hunter. So this is a terrific thing. We've got gas. We should have a gas reservation policy. That's our gas. We should get it cheaply. Petrol in the Middle East is about 50 cents a litre. It's there. They're using it. We've got gas here, but we pay what they pay for it probably in parts of Europe. It's absolutely a joke. If we can get these gas-fired power plants up and then convert them later potentially to hydrogen, if that's ever a thing, there are solutions, but they've been talking them down for so long. They're reluctant to pull the lever, mate. They've put themselves in an awkward position.
And we pay. And as many of your listeners have told you, and I've heard them, they are afraid to put the heater on in the coldest of nights.
They're afraid to put it on. What sort of country are we?
Yeah, I know. We're not first world. We're not first world.